Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Right, I was just going to get things started because I realised that I did buy some DLC for trains yesterday, but it's going to be a while before it all downloads because I don't really have fast internet, it seems. Or I just don't have a good hookup to Steam. So we're going to start with some Grand Prix Legends stuff. Now I've got a blurb from the start of the season, so I've got that saved. Oh no, where'd it go? It's here somewhere. There we go. Let's see if the game opens. Right, the game is open. That's a good start. Okay, so I've got my little blurb here. So I've been, as I streamed last week, I was looking over some NASCAR replays and things, and I kind of looked a bit further into it because I've been kind of dating some of the replays, trying to find some of the tracks. So I mean, if I wanted to look at them, I could, but I don't think I will. It's just for posterity, really. Going back and looking at some of the NASCAR replays, I don't find watching NASCAR very interesting. I mean, if it was a road course, yeah, I would probably view some of those, but it's not. So I think it would be mightily boring. So I've been dating those things. So remember I said that obviously we're in the year 2005 now. I think it's 2005, or was it 2006? Oh, bollocks. The game unfortunately came out of windowed mode, so I got a force quit. Right, so we're in 2006. That's where we are. So around 2004, 5, and 6. I not only I think it maybe because obviously the stuff that I've been looking at, I've been kind of getting increasingly aware of how close to the end of the season I got, and I know that the season, I became a bit tired of it. I mean, I'd only been in the league for, what were we, 5 years? But we had done from season 3 up until season 11, in this case, because we're on to season 12 now. So season 12 started in 2006. So I think in like a couple of years before the end, I started in NASCAR leagues. So I've looked up some of the results and stuff of that. So I started some of the NASCAR leagues in 2004, which ran all the way apparently to 2007. I've got some of the replays up to 2006. So I was doing like full seasons of that every Sunday. So maybe in some instances, maybe that was why I didn't compete in some of those races in season 11, because I was probably doing NASCAR at that point. So my interest has kind of shifted a little. So yeah, it's very interesting, and at some point I'm gonna have to kind of archive all of my discs, because I do want to be able to find my NASCAR paint job that I used, because I was in a team with a friend of mine. He was my crew chief basically, and we were sponsored by Alienware. Probably not technically sponsored by Alienware, but I just remember it'd be nice to find the truck that I was in, because the replays don't show it up. And I think you just put the paint job in your export import directory and then it should pick it up. I haven't actually looked up the way to do it, unless you put it in your player folder or something. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, there's nothing in the player folder which kind of leads me to think that I load it into there. But I managed to find what was the Grand National Series, that mod, because I did a few races in that, and I've obviously loaded in the Craftsman's Trucks mod. So that was all good, because obviously then after 2005 and into 2006ish, I kind of moved to R Factor. So my interest waned a little. I haven't been able to find many R Factor replays. I've got a few from 2006, 7 and 8. But I'm sure there's more somewhere. I do have some in the cloud, so I can look at those. But it's sometimes very difficult to load up R Factor replays because of we were always using specific tracks for the league, which were different to the ones that were released and stuff like that. And if you don't have the right track, it just doesn't load up the replay properly. So it can be a bit flaky. So yeah, that's what that's about. And what I wanted to do at the end of this season, because there's 12 races and I apparently take part in them all. I wanted to actually show you what happened kind of away from games, because as I said, I went on I thought I listed it on my website as being like a sim racing sabbatical, because I kind of did some things rather than kind of stick behind a screen, you know. So we are in season 12. So we've got rounds 1 in Silverstone, 2 Nordschleife, 3 Mosport, 4 Monza, 5 Watkins Glen, 6 in Mexico, 7 Kyalami, 8 in Monaco, 9 in what is going to be probably the Oostenrijkring in Zeltweg, and then we do our last round in Albi. So, season 12. It says, I'll read the blurb. Carry on very much as before. The D1 Championship, the Division 1 Championship, is always strongly contested and is hoped that all drivers will assist the moderator, Phil Thornton. Because we know that the moderation was severely lacking in season 11. To ensure a just and amicable result is reached. Drivers have a free choice of car, but must complete the designated pit stops for that car. Pit stops details will be provided as part of the race announcements. The durations of the pit stops are configured to equalise the relative performance of each chassis over the race duration of 50 minutes. As was the case in Season 11, the final positions will be determined after each driver has discarded their worst 2 results. So, dropped scores is a thing. Open chassis choice. Chassis performance leveled by timed pit stops. Int damage, so intermediate damage. Any shift R must be followed by stop and go in the pits within 2 laps or take a 15-second penalty in post-race moderation. A no-fault shift R, so resetting the car, does not require a stop and go or a penalty. So there is an extra blurb that I haven't actually downloaded from the website. Now bear this in mind for this last 12 rounds. So it said that the entirety of the season, the divisions in UKGPL in 2006, you have the Masters division at the top, so for the aliens, and then you have Division 1 and 2, and then you probably got the Clubman's League at the bottom. Now it said that there is an opportunity for drivers from the Masters to take part in Division 1 races. I wasn't sure why, and that will come into probably why this was my last season. So we've got some of our favourites in the list here. Zandvoort isn't there in my last season, unfortunately, but we've got Silverstone is one of my favourite. Mosport was always good. Watkins Glen I always liked. I always struggled at Mexico, but always liked it. But hey, so here we go for the last go around. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure what happened in these races. Again, I'm kind of going in completely devoid of knowing the results. But we will find out. And I'm probably going to be learning new names as well, because I don't think I'm going to be against the same competitors I was with. So we'll have to see. Okay, so quite late onto the grid. Let's go. So we're missing a few at the front there, whoever they are. So we have, I don't think we saw him last season. So Ralph Maif in the Ferrari. We had some good battles with him in seasons previous, but I didn't see him on the grid in season 11. We then have P. McCluskey. I think that's Paul McCluskey in the Eagle. Clive Loynes, the annoying Clive Loynes, in a Brabham. RMJ, whoever RMJ is, in a Brabham. We then have Rick Bryant, who was always very annoying, in a Cooper or a BRM, just because he was always in the way and always beat me through the pit stops. We then have me in a Ferrari. And then I think we're missing someone here, but I think that's Derek Howe in the Brabham. Not the Brabham, what we're talking about, the BRM. And then we've got another BRM, which is Steve Smith. And that is the entirety of who we can see. So, can we get to... That's probably the best. So... I don't know if he's going to reappear. Last race of the season, here we go. Good luck from literally 19 years ago now. There I am. Off I go. Tight into turn 1. Please don't be any accidents. So we're starting in 11th place apparently. Oh, there's already a BRM off in the background. Oh! 2 drivers off. Bonus. That was a couple of the Brabhams, I think, that got tangled up there. So we've got Clive Loynes just in front of us in the Brabham. We've got a Cooper just behind us. So presumably we're up to 9th place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know where everybody else is. Whoa. Not too good on the brakes there. Snatched a little bit of a brake and I nearly rear-ended Clive. I don't know if it's 5th. It says 11th on the top. I'm assuming that the replay just doesn't have the some of the cars showing. So Eagle, Ferrari, Eagle, Brabham, Ferrari, Cooper. So I've dropped a bit back from the Brabham and I'm being hassled by, I think that's Rick Bryant perhaps in the Cooper behind. No, it's A. Livingston, so we battled with him in a lot of the time in the Ferrari last season. It always takes me a little while to just kind of warm up a bit. So C. Darks, Chris Darks is in this league. It's fastest lap of the race, 1:34. Up the inside in that turn, that is very, very tight. Livingston, I presume. So the Eagles are streaking away, but they do have a bit more of a pit stop. Look at this. What a mess back here. So trying to get around a Brabham whilst being hassled by a Cooper. Didn't fancy getting up the inside, not confident on the brakes. Tentative. I'm dropping back from the main pack. Dropping that Cooper a little bit. So we've got 34 laps. This is lap 3. I believe there is probably 2 pit stops again, like last season. We're now up to 8th place. So Kevin Clark is put in the fastest lap of the race, a 1:29.6. So there are quite a few that you don't see on the replay. I just done a lap time of a 1:33, so we're 4 seconds off the leader space. So an Eagle. Another Eagle. Ferrari, Brabham and myself. We are dropping that Cooper, thankfully. So plenty of cars elsewhere on the circuit, but we just don't see them. Like we have settled into a little bit of a rhythm though. Now we've dropped back from that Brabham a little. We are kind of out of the draft, but we are dropping that Cooper now. But I mean, we're going to have 15 seconds. I suppose the Cooper is probably going to be doing a stop and go or something, or a 5-second pit stop, or. And the Ferrari's probably going to be doing 20-25 seconds. Ferrari and that Eagle are having a right old ding dong. So that Eagle is pulling away. Ferrari's going to have a look. Not quite. Not quite. So one thing that, obviously, seeing the replays and seeing that I've actually saved every single one of them. Oh, this is a freebie coming up. I think someone just lost a bit of ground running off the track. It might have been Clive, because I've caught up quite significantly right in the draft. Still can't quite get alongside. So I won't be able to get past Clive in the pit stops because he's probably going to be pitting 5 seconds less than me. Or more. Now I'm down to the 130s now. Leaders are on the 128 pace. I think I can get down to the 129s. Still can't quite get a run on Clive. Ahead. Lap 5 of 34. I think that nowadays with the net codes of games is that you can possibly feel a bit more confident racing against other drivers because, you know, contact is not going to result in crashing in a ball of flame, you know. So I did do quite a good lap there. I dropped a bit. Still did a 130. This just means that Clive got a bit of a wriggle on. Such is the way of Silverstone, it's a little bit of a stalemate. I mean, with all these sweeping turns and all these straights, you would think that you would kind of be able to breeze up to the back of a slower car, but I'm guessing it's the lack of hard stopping corners, you know. So out-braking is a bit difficult. Oh, he's made a mistake. He's made a mistake and I'm through. Can I pull away from the Brabham? I would like to think that was me putting the pressure on. Indeed. Just lucky I didn't get caught up in it. Now, can we pull away from the Brabham? Can we actually go any faster than a 130 now? So we are going faster every single lap. We are bettering our fastest lap time. The leaders are into the 127s, but only just. I was found at Silverstone you had to be in quite a good rhythm because of all the sweeping turns and things. You can't really, you know, throw the car in. You had to kind of be very soft. So we're now up to 6th place, so I'm guessing that someone must have, that yellow flag, maybe someone disconnected or something. Or maybe there was a car off the road that we didn't see. So lap 7 of 34. Now in season 11, I believe I just split the race into thirds. So it's possibly going to be something like pit in lap 11, lap 22. So the Eagle and the Ferrari head are close together. I've now got a bit of lap time to find, so as soon as I passed Clive, I'm now down to 129.5. So I'm able to put in the faster lap times now. Never really a good qualifier back then. Never really a good qualifier up to present day. Just don't seem to be able to put one fast lap together. Look at this. Look at the time I've lost. I mean, I imagine that the two cars I had are probably faster than me anyway, but I don't know. I don't know whether I'm misremembering things. You know, this. I know that Division 1 in Season 12 was still competitive. It wasn't easy by any means. But we'll see from the results of the first one to see, you know, there are drivers that we just don't see in the replay. So we'll check out who's running at the front. We'll see. We've got a few good rounds in this season. And I don't know whether I decided that this was my last season early on, or whether I just decided when the season was finished that I just said, right, that's it, I'm done. Because obviously by this time as well, so at the end of 2005, I believe it was. So at this point, I'm actually unemployed. So at the end of 2005, I believe I was unemployed for about a year or a year and a half, I think, before I found a new career, as it were. So I went through a little bit of a crisis. But I imagine that me racing doesn't really kind of reflect that, but it's always good to bear in mind what was happening elsewhere in my life at this point. So I'm not really dropping Clive in the Brabham, which means he's going to pass me through the pit stops again. And then I'm going to have to do this all over again. 6th place. We are just near a third way through the race, so that's 10 laps of 34. Fastest lap of the race is now 1:27.6. It all looks very sedate, doesn't it, when you're driving at Silverstone? Best lap time I've managed so far is a 1:29.5. So there's a couple of people coming into the pits. It's an eagle that's come into the pits. He must have been way ahead because he's come out in front of me. It's either that or he's taking a stop and go or something. Because who is that? S. Drake. Whoever S. Drake is. So I'm now up to 5th place. So S. Drake is a lapped car. Okay. Gets out of the way, thankfully. Sid Drake. Okay. So he's taking a pit stop around the time that I'm probably going to be taking a pit stop. I wonder how long he's going to hold up the Brabham behind. Not for long. So I've got a couple of seconds on the Brabham, but I mean that Brabham's probably going to be in the pits 10 seconds or so, less than me. Decided not to pit yet. So I can probably count in seconds, so 1. If I can find a camera view that gives me a long shot. Let's see if we can do a count. He's very close. It's probably around 2 seconds or so. 1,000. Didn't even get a chance to count. About 2 seconds-ish. About 2 seconds. So, looking at that Ferrari behind. So that Ferrari behind, I believe, has come from the lead. Because I saw them on the lap time sheets. So I'm now up to 4th, coming into the pits. Is the car ahead? So that's Ralph. So we're now up to 3rd. So that Ferrari was battling with that Eagle before. Clive is off. That works to my advantage. So that guy just behind me is a pit stop ahead of me. So I'm wondering whether I'm thinking come in the pits now so that I don't... whether I would have noticed that he would have gone off because it's now a red car in my mirrors rather than a green one. Am I pitting? I am not pitting. Interesting. At 14 of 34. I mean, I'm assuming there's a 2 pit stop rule. I don't know for a fact, but I'm assuming there is. Did my fastest lap of the race last time around. actually defending. Braking all wrong there, but can I hold on to it? I've got the inside. Still not showing signs of going into the pits. No, I am now. There we go. Stopped at 22.05. Let's see how long we're in the pits for. That's 10 seconds. That's 15 seconds, I think. Alright, that Ferrari, is that Ralph? Who is that? So that's Smith. It is Ralph. How did I bit him out of the pit stops? I'm not kind of sure. Did I stop too? I stopped a bit too early there. Maybe. Because I shouldn't be close to him. He passed me within one straight. So I came out from third. I'm probably now in 6th place. Ferrari's going at it. This is for position. He's going defensive. Can I go around the outside? I don't think I can. The inside. We're down to 8th place apparently. Well, it says my lap time was a 1:54, so I lost 24 seconds in the pits. So that Cooper and that BRM, I don't know if that's position. I think it might be. It is for position. So that BRM ahead is doing 1:30s. So the handicap for this race is rubbish. So I'm actually putting away from Ralph, which is a bit strange. Fastest lap of the race is now a low 1:27. I mean, I'm probably going to catch this BRM. We are now back up to 6th place as we cross the line. So we're going to beat a Cooper out the pits. I don't know who that is in the Cooper. That's A. Livingston in the Cooper. So I can't remember whether you started ahead or not. So thankfully he didn't slow me down. So we're probably up to 5th place now. Got 2 BRMs to catch. we've got the BRM of Steve Smith, I believe, and M. Chapman. I think it's Martin Chapman. Coming into the pits again. Now, is this a ploy to not get held up by the BRM? And I'm still revving my engine. I've never learned not to do that in the pit stop in all of these seasons. I think maybe the idea was to get out from behind a stack of cars. Is that Clive Loynes? It is Clive Loynes. I think... Don't know whether I'm a pit stop ahead of him. I assume that I might be. But we've done all of our pit stops. It did look quite quick on the stopwatch, so I'm wondering whether I've stopped too... not enough. So we'll have to see. So I pitted from 5th. So we've got to catch and pass this Brabham again. Lap 18 of 34. So we're just past half distance. Last lap time was a 1:53. So a bit of a faster in and out lap. Says we're now down to 9th place. We were as high as 3rd. We are dealing with a hell of a handicap to overcome. So fastest lap of the race is now into the 1:26s. So I don't know if I'm actually getting close to this Brabham at all. I think I am. Still in 9th place. At 20 of 34, so we've got 14 laps to go. Don't know if that Eagle is actually for position. No. He's a lapped car. I've actually dropped behind a little bit. I've done a fastest lap time of 1:28 somehow. 1:28.8. There's some black lines there. I don't know who that was for. Don't see anyone off in particular. That must have been our lapped car in the Eagle, because he's now dropped behind us. Lap 21 of 34. I mean, I've gone forwards. I think I probably started 11th place, and I'm now 9th, but kind of takes the piss when I was I was 9th place on lap 1. When we had those two cars that came together, so I'm basically back where I started. Only get into the mid 129s consistently. Nothing more than that. That's a Ferrari that's come out of the pits. Who is that? That is Ralph. So we were a pit stop ahead of him. So it seems I'm in a bit of a kind of a chasm. Being able to catch this Brabham ahead. I've been able to stay ahead through the pit stops, even after their accident. So, even driving the perfect race, it can't overcome a pit stop deficit and someone making a mistake. That's why I think the pit stop system is a little bit flawed. It's either that or he still has a pit stop to go, but that's quite depressing. You can drive the perfect race, but you still can't compete. The system is a little flawed. I mean, I don't imagine that there could have been an on-the-fly kind of, an on-the-fly balance of performance, so that you would go from the performance of where you qualified. I mean, maybe the fairer way to do it would be to kind of do balance of performance on championship position. Rather than per race. That's a car stopped. That's a car shift R-ing. So it might be a car that's blown their engine. It looked like a Cooper to me. So I think we're now up to 7th place. We are indeed. 24 of 34. 10 laps to go. So we've made up a couple of places, but we're still stuck behind this damn Brabham. Simply just like on board. I mean, it's always annoying that you couldn't really cut some of these Silverstone corners because they would either have a big wall in the way or they would have a curb that would really unsettle your car. You can cut that one though. Be very careful of that one. Case in point. I was going a little bit wide. Revving quite hard. Changing up at around 10,500 RPM. Brake at the flagpole. I mean, I can't imagine. You know, we weren't racing in widescreen back then. I don't think. So the view that you see on the replay here is not the view that I would have had from the cockpit. I would have probably had it maybe cut off at the mirror. So visibility would be a bit difficult. I think you can still look left and right from what I remember. Just done my fastest lap of the race, a 1:28.7. Brabham is making mistakes ahead. I don't know if I'm going to run out of laps or not. I'm still in position 7 though. Catching, but very, very, very slowly. Slightly wide. But we saw they've been making a few mistakes. So I wonder whether we can push them into one of them. Difficult to see. Car ahead. About 2 seconds or so. Oh look, there's a BRM that we'd never catch. BRM started way back and they've just beaten us all through the pit stops. Even though they can do the same lap time. So what the BOP system actually does is make you want to take a lower powered car and get better in it. I'm not bitter, no, honestly not. But that's what it does. That's what it forces you to do to be competitive, is to get into a slower car and try and be as fast in it as quote unquote faster cars. So although you do have free car choice, you know, but okay. I don't know if we're going to catch this Brabham, you know. Lap 28 of 34, 6 laps to go. Slightly wide from the Brabham there. I mean, just a bit annoying that they seem to be, you know, going wide and making all the mistakes, but I don't seem to be catching it all. They just have a bit more pace than I do. I'm putting in mid 129s. That 128 seemed to be like the perfect lap, but I don't seem to be able to recreate it. But we're definitely trying and locking our tyres and everything. It's close, but it's not close enough. So it looks like this is going to be a P7. I can't think anything dramatic is going to happen in the last 5 laps. The main thing is we went forwards, I guess. There's my mouse pointer. There it is. I always forget to put the stream title on. I did say P7, yeah. So I think we've gained 2 places. This matched my fastest lap of the race that last time out, 128.7. So we'll see in the results that these BRMs started back in 12th or whatever, and they've come through to top 5. But I was so stubborn that I didn't get into those cars. It's like I'm sticking with my trusty Ferrari, no matter the pit stop. So we are catching that BRM, but again, I don't know whether... So BRM's qualified 10th, 11th, and 12th. Well, a couple of them were in front of me. I know that. Which I suppose even more depressing. Couldn't even beat a BRM. Yeah, is Clive going to be held up so he can get closer? Not quite close enough. Fastest lap of the race is a 1:26.3. BRM is hanging on for dear life, which gives me the opportunity to catch up. We sold a dummy. Lap 32 or 34, 2 laps to go. Can we get 2 in one fell swoop? This is a top 5 we're gunning for. So the BRM has gone very defensive. It's always very difficult when you're trying to follow someone that's following someone else, and you're like, don't fall into their traps when they make mistakes, and you're unsure whether they can see you. See, I'm pulling out all the stops here. I'm waving around in their mirror. The BRM has gone wide and has given us both the position around the outside of the Brabham. Not gonna work, or is it? Or is it? Look at that! Around the outside. Have some of that. We've earned 5th position. Had to do it the hard way. It's still not over. Unless... I mean, I am going defensive now. Only for a little bit, though. Because I feel like I can probably pull away. The Brabham is going for a dive. But I've held it around the inside. Outside, rather. And now he's under attack by a BRM again. Thank you very much. I'll take it and I'll just run away. And some of the advantage of Silverstone is someone can still dive at the inside, but as long as you can keep momentum around the outside, you should be alright. Well, I think the BRM has just gone round. It's, the BRM changed into an eagle just then. What? That was a bit odd. Oh, and the eagle's gone off. So the BRM has completely disappeared, so he's completely thrown it away. So last lap. Top 5. Just have to keep it pointing in the right direction. I would say we earned this. We had to consistently drive at the limit for the entire... Oh no! Oh no! Can you hear that? We haven't got enough fuel. That sucks. That sucks. That sucks. Well, 6th place is not too bad. We fell foul of the fuel. Passed on the last corner. Alright. I'm trying to work out how to spell. I think that's right. Ow, that's my arm. Yeah, I think I got it right. Right, so first race of season 12. So it was Kevin Clark that came away with a win. I got promoted to 4th place. Is that right? Is that right? Oh, we got lots of penalties for people. I don't know why I've gone up to 4th. So, fastest lap time for Kevin was a 1:27.8 in practice, in qualifying. So came home with it. We started 8th apparently. I'm wondering whether there's a couple of people that don't score. But the Brabham started 12th and ended up 2nd. Taking the piss. So there's a couple of people that got some side by side and I think that was the two that probably collided at the start. So there's a note from the moderator here. When making pit stops, please pull over to the pit wall. Don't stop in the middle of the pit lane and impede other drivers. Also, on long pit stops, greater than 30 seconds, the wheels should be spun to ensure GPL doesn't retire the driver. But that doesn't mean the driver should spin the wheels up more than twice or creep several pit boxes down the pit lane. It is accepted that drivers may decide to make a precautionary second wheel spin or one for pit stop times at excess of 20 seconds, but if an unfair advantage is gained, it may be necessary to adjust the pit stop time. Any time spent creeping would be removed from the pit stop time, and any resulting short pit stop time would be imposed. Lap 1 incidents. It is imperative that drivers are confident that no one alongside when moving over to overtake. During a race, it is reasonable to expect a driver to be aware of the position of the following driver just by monitoring his mirrors, but this is not the case on lap 1. This does not mean that side-by-side incidents on lap 1 can be excused. In fact, they are very much frowned upon, hence the extra place penalties. Although not ideal, momentarily using the F10 chase wheel will reveal if everyone is alongside, but not approaching from fast from behind. If in doubt, don't move over. God, I wouldn't use the bloody external camera to check if someone was alongside. That would be very disorientating. Very disorientating indeed. Okay. Right. Next one is going to be a bit more difficult. Because round 2 is going to be the Nordschleife. Never gone well at the Nordschleife. Never, ever, ever. So, this is going to be bad. I assume. Right, so it's downloaded everything. That's good. Get rid of that. I don't know why my title is not updating. Should save it. I think maybe, is it worth trying to get it from the network? I don't know whether I can. Can only get hold of that folder. I normally save my titles to the cloud, but Google Drive is being very. It says it's synced, but it doesn't quite sync with. And Google Drive can be very annoying. Well, it's finally updated itself. Okay. I'll leave it to do its thing. Right. As I say, I've never gone well at Nordschleife, so don't expect too much. Last time it was an absolute disaster from what I remember. I kept crashing into everyone and everything. So we've got 6 laps of the Nordschleife. I'm not feeling too confident. No, I didn't work out how I got P4. I mean, the only way I'm going to be able to tell is the championship results. I'm assuming that some people weren't scoring. Or something. So a little bit misleading. Right, okay, let's see who we got. M. Chapman in a Brabham again. Derek Howe in a Brabham. BRM, sorry. Martin Portman in a Cooper. Steve Smith in a BRM. Me in a Ferrari. And then we've got H. Itchov in a BRM. It just seems like everyone's taking BRMs and just saying, screw it. Right, let's see how we do. Horrible start. That Brabham made an absolute blinder. Oh, we're passing everybody. Passed a couple of people. We started 11th. Oh, Brabham decides to have a dive down the inside. Is that going to be Clive Loynes again? It's RMJ. So we started 11th. Seems to be our thing. Get an updated position for quite some time, I don't think. So we're chasing what I think is 2 Coopers. Or is it a Brabham and a Cooper? And we've got a BRM breathing down our neck. So Derek Howe made an absolute shocker. He was able to pass at the start. Even though I've got a more powerful car, it's as if I can't put the power down. Those Coopers and Brabhams are just pulling away. Oh, nearly got caught up in his mistake then. Catching them all in the twisties though. I mean, as we know, it's you just got to kind of stick with it through these sections and just wait for the straight, where hopefully you've kept up with them. So you can then use the straight line speed advantage, but Brabham is a little bit laggy, which I would imagine that it would make me nervous now. I imagine it would make me nervous back then as well. So the last thing you want is a car jittering around. Oh, no. Oh, we caught that. Even though we lost that position on the last lap, we could have had a podium if we didn't underfuel. But 4th place is a good start to the season. We seem to have dropped the cars behind. Oh. I wonder whether I'll get penalised for that. I did slow for the accident, but I did pass that Cooper. But, I mean, we were past the accident, weren't we? Maybe. Maybe I did. I mean, you take your chance with how much fuel you put in the tank. But it did say 6th on the counter, so. So is the moderator going to look badly on me for taking advantage of that accident a little bit? I mean, I did slow to weave through. But did I slow enough? I don't know, that looked like 3 cars spinning, I think. 2 cars or 3 cars spinning. Don't know who they were. So we're probably up to 8th place, but we won't know that yet. Well, the moderators were blind last season, yeah, but I don't think they're blind this season. They're actually doing some moderating. I'm not apologising to anybody. My opinions are my opinions, and I'm sticking with them. I'm in trouble putting the power down through this section. Cooper is all over my rear end now. You can see how tentative I am. Yeehaw! It's Kevin Clark behind me. He must have been one of the Ferraris that came a cropper. Oh no! We fucked it. All that work. All that work. Just went a little bit too wide. In for the stop and go rig. Well, that changes the complexion of the race now. So we were 8th, according to the... Oh, dearie me. Not good. Whoever G. Lednick is, I've never heard of him. But whoever he is, he's lagging all over the place. What a horrible laggy car I've got in front of me now. Sort your connection out 20 years ago. bad luck at the Nordschleife, or bad performances at the Nordschleife, continue. So we're doing six laps at the Nordschleife. Which works out as a 40-minute race? 45-minute race? I mean, I've now got a car which has got one extra lap of fuel in it. So those lovely places I made up through the accident I gave away. So, fastest lap of the race was an 8:27. See, my first lap wasn't that great with a 9:07. I did see a Ferrari in my mirror briefly. Looked like they had another accident. We'll have to see whether I go up positions from where I finish in this one as well. It looks like it's going to be a very lonely 6 laps. Well, I suppose that's a good thing. I don't want to get stuck behind. You can just run your own race. Oh dear. Making all the mistakes. How close I am to anybody. So where are they then? Not too far ahead. They were just coming through this corner right here. But I can't quite see them yet. I can hear them. Whoa! Popping out on the carousel. Now, I can't remember there being... I think there were still rules about dropped scores earlier in the season, because I think I mentioned them. And how the drop scores could actually be DNSs. So you didn't have to actually take part in a race to drop a score, which I felt was a little unfair. Because it means that someone could drop a score who actually scored, and others can just not turn up and drop nothing. So another rule that I felt was a little bit flawed. So in that long straight there, I still can't see the cars I'm chasing. So if we're doing 2 pit stops, we've got to probably pit at the end of this lap. Then do another lap, then pit at the end of the next one. I assume. Oh, someone's off. It's a BRM that's come to grief. Hopefully it didn't slow us down. Ah, bollocks and shite. I spoke too soon. A run of bad luck at the North Life continued. Well, it's not really bad luck, is it? It's more like skill issues. Yeehaw! You've obviously got to look at the camo when you're going over the hump there. Yong. No, done it again. Oh, I thought I was about to run off the track again. Right into the hedge. Alright, so what position are we in now? 10th, apparently. So we're pitting this lap. It's not a straight bit. It's a blind crest. Where if you get it wrong, you get it wrong big. Oh good, we're stuck behind a Cooper. Good, good. So, it says I've done the same lap time, both laps. Did a 9:04. Well, we did a 9:07 on the first lap. But now I've done a 9:04, so not really gained much. Well, it says 10th place on the position marker. We're chasing A. Livingston. Forever chasing a Cooper. Whole lap behind a Cooper as well. So, they did a 9:01 last time. But I haven't got a clean lap yet. Horrible gear change. remember what my personal best is in the Ferrari. I think it's probably around the 830s. Cooper was actually able to pull away from me somehow.
It just wasn't very fast.
But all the knowledge that I gained of the layout of the Nordschleife in Grand Prix Legends served me well to learn the modern versions in modern sims. I still don't consider it a racetrack. It's not a track you should ever consider racing on. There's just not no places to pass. 8:29. Okay. Snap of those there. Stay in a bit of a higher gear than I need to up that hill because I was always too scared of stepping on the throttle and spinning it round. No. Lucky that sign wasn't solid. So we'll see whether we're actually down in the... I presume we're going to be down in maybe 8:45 range if I don't have an accident. On 8:28 in the Cooper. So it's clearly a skill issue. I mean, I've probably got way below that in the Lotus. Something I'm noticing in these first two races, not many people are in the Lotus. Weird that, isn't it? Oh, he popped out the banking. We'll have some of that. Capitalising on their mistake. Still, we're going to be stuck behind that Cooper again later on. Keep an eye on A. Livingston. I have no Lotus ring time. What? What? I thought I at least put one in. Maybe it was an Eagle I did my fastest lap time in. I'm sure I was down to like the 8:17 or something. car bottoming out over that crest. Don't fancy going in the banking this time. Off we go. That Cooper is actually gaining on me. No, we're not close to the grass this time. Thankfully. Ah, the Cooper. Banging off the barriers. Oh, I feel like pitting straight away. That was an 8:57 that time. So I'm not really going any faster. Dropping even further down the order, but both pit stops are done. This is where I am for the last 2 laps of the race. Well, the last 3 laps. So this is lap 4. Got lap 4, lap 5 and lap 6 to go. I'm now down to 11th place, it says. I was thinking of doing some train sim after this, but I just don't think I have the energy. Not that I've done a lot over the last few days. Oopsie daisy. Cut to an onboard and there's one. Right, who am I chasing? Derek Howe in the BRM. So I basically got 27 minutes. Is that right? Near enough 27 minutes to catch as many people as possible. Can't even see the BRM though. Although it looked like someone had a little bit of an off coming up here. to see what kind of lap times I'm able to do once I've now got rid of my pit stops. And fastest lap time in the race is an 8:15. It's the only one of the only tracks on the calendar where you're separated by so much in lap time between drivers. I think I just saw a car. I did. So we're going to struggle to get into the top 10 at the end of this race, I think. Unless there's something that's happened on this lap. Well, unless there's something happened in the remaining laps. Duh. Captain Obvious enters the chat. So I had accidents at the carousel and I decided against even using it. Definitely catching them. I don't know whether we're close enough to pass on the back straight though. Siding against the carousel again. I don't think I'm close enough. Fastest lap time in the race is an 8:08. I've just been looking at the counter. I was P11 at the start of the lap, and now I've dropped to P13. And I haven't been passed by anybody. So I'm a bit confused. Gained quite a lot in the late braking phase there. Looks like we are going to be held up by this BRM. Oh look, it's A. Livingston. It's passed me through the pit stops. Now I'm stuck behind this BRM for a lap. I did an 8:56 that last lap. Didn't quite do it. Yeah, to push him into a mistake. I mean, last lap was a clean lap, I thought. I think it was the only lap without a pit stop in it. Get out of the way! If I had a horn. Beep, 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 beep. Using all the tricks in the book. Oh, no, I thought that was going to be a nudge. And shaping up for a pass down there, but so they did an 8:40 last time. So, I mean, their lap time is faster than anything I've done in this entire race. Oh, I saw a mistake. I saw a mistake. I did. I saw a mistake, so I went for it. So you look, they hit the grass. I thought that was an opportunity, so I dived up the inside. I mean, I'm not really anywhere close. And I'm just going to drift it. See, Net code much? Look how far away I am. Bonk. And round he goes. Looks like I'm going to be the gentleman. I mean, I don't know whether I'll probably get penalised for that, even though I let them buy it. I mean, I don't know whether I felt that I saw them hit the grass and I thought, well, I want to be as far away from them as possible. I don't want to get caught up in their accident. Or I saw them hit the grass and slow down a bit, and I wanted an overlap. But I don't know. You could see that I'm kind of just all over their rear end and thinking, well, where's the next place I'm able to pass? But I'm definitely closer than I was last lap. But there's no opportunities in this latter half. I popped out the carousel again. This is the penultimate lap as well. And off he goes. Well, that's happening. So, my next car, A. Livingston, is at the top of the hill there. That's quite far away, so I lost so much time being behind that BRM, including that accident. Can't even see Cooper ahead. It's actually been one of those messy races. Again, it's just annoying. I mean, I suppose I had my own spins in the first two laps, which lost all the advantages that I'd gained in the first few laps. So it's my own fault. But the same thing has remained true throughout all of these seasons, is that Nordschleife just isn't my thing. It's just not my thing. Nyong. Nowhere near the hedge this time. It's a tree in the way. I just did an 8:59. Or was that an 8:50? It's very hard to see. I think that's an 8:50. So even with that accident, I just did my fastest lap of the race. So, right, the position counter says 12th. Right, so we're coming through the first few turns. We've got two Coopers that are just going down the hill. I don't think I've got enough to beat them. Well, I might have enough to beat him. There he is. So that's Martin Portman ahead. I'm just checking their lap times. So their fastest lap is an 8:33, which takes the piss. And their last lap was a 9:04 lap. Ooh, spinning up the rear tyres there. Getting too eager on the loud pedal. Got someone to chase. But I don't think I'm going to get close to them. Fastest lap of the race is an 8 minute 6 seconds. Thankfully we go back to a normal racetrack in the next round. The problem is when you push, that's when mistakes happen. So I'm probably going to do the fastest lap of my race on the last lap. Ooh, it's lucky I was running wide then. Oh, there's another Cooper in a hedge! Well, that's made my job a little easier. So, possibly we're up to a top 10. 2 freebies. That's kind of them. Oh, there's another car ahead. Is it a BRM? Is it a BRM? No, I think it's another Cooper, actually. No, it's A. Livingston in the Cooper. So all of the Coopers that fell off the road aren't the one that I wanted to pass. Were they for position? They were for position. Sid Drake and Martin Portman. I don't think I'm going to pass this Cooper by the end of that. Definitely pushing though. Ooh, that was a snap of oversteer. Right, do I stay within the carousel this time? do. Are we going to pop in or out? We're going to stay in. Oh, another freebie coming up, perhaps. Oh, there's another one. That's a BRM in the hedge. So might as well look at who that was. M. Chapman. So we've gained 3 places on 1 lap. I mean, we've got to be so close to this Cooper coming onto the straight to even have a hope of passing. I'm also noticing that there's no Hondas. There's no Lotuses. Fastest lap of the race is an 8:03. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I am absolutely flying, but the lap time's not going to tell me that I'm absolutely flying. Fancy taking the chance of the carousel. I think the straight's going to not be long enough. Oh, fucked it. No. Gave away 1 position. We were pushing so hard though. We were pushing so hard. So we dropped 1 place to a Cooper. Got stuck in one hedge, got pulled out of that hedge and went into the other. Oh well. Hang on, there's something happening here. There's yellow flags and God knows what. What's happening at the end? So there's no yellow flag here, so someone's not dropped it at the last chicane. Oh, I nearly did. I'm guessing it's people over the line that are doing their donuts or something. Yeah, it must be. So it says 12th. No, it says 10th. A top 10. A top 10 is what we got. A top 10 is what we got. So, let's have a look at the results and see if I gain anything from that. Right, okay. So, Nordschleife, Ralph Mafe gets first. Paul McCluskey gets second. James Greenwood is third. RMJ in the Brabham goes from 12th to 4th. Steve Smith goes from 10th to 5th. Kevin Clark 3rd down to 6th. Andy L 6th to 7th. And I gain 2 places again. I'm up to 8th. And no penalties. I wonder what flag that is. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Sid Drake was from, apparently. Fine win. Is Ferrari, notwithstanding a couple of unforced errors and a short first pit stop, despite a short second pit stop. Paul McCluskey leapfrogs James Greenwood to take the runner-up spot on the podium as James received a second 15-second penalty for missed stop and go for a shifter. So, all of that kerfuffle at the start, and people got a couple of bad rejoin warnings. So Sid Straight got a 15 seconds added. Sid, 15 seconds. So that actually knocked him behind me, I think. If I added 15 seconds to that time, he would have been just in front, I think. Neil has been following Derek for several miles, trying to find a way through. As they approach Exmul, Neil stays close, hoping for an opportunity to get by. According to the server replay, no contact is made, but Derek spins out as if he's been rear-ended. Clearly warp contact. Well, it was warp contact, but I did think I was a bit opportunistic. Neil slows down and waits for Derek to regain his place. Exemplary behaviour from Neil. Thank you very much. Curse my gentlemanly driving. If you're notes. If you're involved in an incident, please provide a client replay. Warp and the limited number of cars can be used as mitigating circumstances in your favour. Number 2. Don't do a 180 if you're going to end up stationary on the racing line. If a 180 is the only viable manoeuvre, move the car to a position where you won't end up on the racing line. Okay. So a 4th place and an 8th place. But, I mean, where did I start? I started 11th. I went forwards. So, where else can you expect, really? It's not bad, is it? Not bad at all. Not bad. Okay. Right, I think this is going to be the final round for tonight. My titles still haven't updated, even though I saved it about a couple of minutes ago. Wonder whether I need to update my Google Drive software, because it's just bad. It's just very, very bad. So yeah, now a proper racetrack. We're now off to Mossport. Now, as we know from some of the races that I've done at Mossport, hard track to pass on, and particularly dangerous. What I'm going to do is... It says it's still syncing, but well. I didn't queue up this song, but how about that? Apparently it says I've shared this folder, but I've not shared it. Right, let's see if I can actually access that. I can, but I've not set the right permissions, apparently. I hate Windows networking. I hate it with a passion. I mean, I've set it to everybody. So, why can I not see it? Choose people to share it with. Everyone. Because apparently cloud software isn't saving it on one computer and then it uploading a text file, a tiny little text file, up to the cloud and then down out of the cloud is far too much, apparently. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what's stopping it syncing. It said it's synced, but it's just not unsynced at the other side. It's the weirdest. I'm just seeing if there's any particular reason why it wouldn't be doing it. I mean, it's not. I don't know. I don't know. It's still it's still trying to save it over the network. It's kind of indexing all of my Windows files in one directory just to save something over the network, or just to give access to something over the network. There's no reason why it should be indexing the files or anything. It should just say, right, share this over the network. Tell all of the machines on the network that this is, you can access there. It shouldn't be sitting there with a progress bar which doesn't have any progress on it. It's just pointless. Absolutely pointless. But Windows networking I've always failed with, and the fact that I was trying desperately hard with one of my parents' PCs to connect a Windows 11 machine to a Windows 10 machine. I was looking at them both and just going, just talk to each other. You're connected to the same router. Just do your job, you know? It was just like, oh, it's so painful. so painful. And even when I tried to upgrade from had a Windows 7 machine to a Windows 10 machine, they just would not talk to each other. And I've got 2 Windows 10 machines here, and they're so finicky with networking. Sometimes the network drives will only read one way. They won't read both ways. They make it so difficult when it doesn't need to be. Oh, God's sake, man. Add. Do. There are 1 users connected to my drive. How can there be 1 user connected to my drive? Because I haven't shared it yet. Windows, what are you doing? It can't be connected to my drive because I haven't shared you yet. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's just pathetic. I mean, I might as well just edit it on another machine. All of this just to edit 1 text file. I mean, at some point I'm going to upgrade the Google Drive software, but I mean, if I was using Dropbox, it probably would work. Oh, look at that! It's changed. I had to do it locally. Well, I'm relying on networking and stuff. I don't know. Right. Anyway, back to the plot. We're off to Mossport. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? So I remember from the previous rounds as well, Mossport doesn't have a flagman on this version. Oh, we've qualified quite well this time. I assume that that's probably 4th place on the grid. 5th place. But we've got a couple of Brabhams. I assume that there's 1 person here. So we've got Paul McCluskey, what would be maybe 2nd place in a Ferrari. We've got Ralph Mafe in a Ferrari in 3rd. We've got Rick Bryan in a Brabham in 4th. RMJ in a Brabham in 5th. And then me in a Ferrari in 6th. And then a Cooper behind. So the 2 Brabhams ahead, we've got to beat them through the pit stops. But we do have those BRMs just sitting there in the background, waiting to take the places. So, as long as we can get a good start. 36 laps of Mossport. Hopefully we can stay up the inside all the way up to turn 1, and maybe Sid Drake is on pole, are they? Okay. Oh Jesus, everyone squeezing towards the pit wall. We have none of that. So we started quite well. I never really liked the trackside cams on this. Well, that Brabham's gone wide. Stayed on the track though. So we did start 6th, but these Brabhams are going to cause me grief. Just like then. Nearly came. Whoa! Off goes a car. These 2 Brabhams are going to cause me a lot of trouble. Started 6th. We are staying 6th. Oh no, we are 5th. We must have passed somebody. I don't know who. Fastest lap of the race is a 1:25. My fastest lap of the race at the start was a 1:30. Car's a bit twitchy around these corners, it looks like. So just at a 1:24. Fastest lap time's now gone down to a 1:22. So there's some fast guys back in the pack. But looking in the mirror, it looks like we have pulled away from most of the cars behind. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep our 5th place. It looks like I'm running quite a fast steering rack, doesn't it? So I'm very twitchy on the wheel. Fastest lap time's 1:22.5. I've just done a 1:23.6. A bit wide there though. You saying that? Looks like someone, Mr. S. Drake, just gone off. So we now up to 4th place. We are indeed. We are in 4th. So that Brabham, you can see ahead. That's 3rd, and there's a Ferrari just ahead of him. And a Ferrari just ahead of him, so we can see the entire field ahead of us. So I think that's Paul McCluskey that's in the lead. It's Ralph Mayfield second, probably. And that's possibly Rick Bryant in 3rd. That's RMJ in 3rd. Refuses to use his real name. Lap 5 of 36. Quite know what that graphical glitch was. I think when you can get it right, you can come out of turn 2 full throttle. But I'm always kind of on and off the throttle. Now, how much do you want to put your money on these two ahead coming to grief? Just coming over, so that Rick Bryant is not too far behind, so he's possibly going to pass us through the pit stops. The question is, do you pit early when you feeling like you're held up behind these guys? So when you get the rear slip balanced, you can just full throttle it out of turn 2. But obviously if it grips up again... oh, that's a Ferrari. We are now up to 3rd. Gonna get a nosebleed at this rate. pit early. What would you have done? Would you have pitted early? Oh, we went for it. We went for it, but snatched a break. Or did we have a look up the inside and then we got a bit too close for comfort, perhaps? Well, we did do our fastest lap of the race chasing these guys, but now we've dropped a second. Now we've got up to the back of them. So, but again, I maybe wouldn't have been able to tell back then what kind of lap times I was doing. Although at this point, maybe we were running there's a utility called Pribula, where you can see last lap times and current lap times and stuff. So he's quite far behind now, but I don't know if that's enough to squeeze a pit stop in between. I hate these curbs. Strangely, I seem to catch through the twisty sections. But the only vital place that you need to be quick is off that last corner, and I am not. I mean, the chances are that if you did do a pit stop, you would drop back behind another car that's going to hold you up even more. So you've got two carrots to chase. Are they going to collide with each other? I think we are possibly faster than them, or they're just holding each other, holding themselves up. See how much ground he's able to gain out that corner. You have to be so brave to go up the inside there, because you're basically overtaking over a crest. Oh, he's pitting. Time to put some fast lap times in. Right, so we've got to keep an eye on RMJ, where RMJ is going to come out. Plus, we've got to keep an eye on Rick Bryant. So we are now chasing the leader. We've dropped Rick Bryant. Right, so that must be a lapped car just ahead of us. So we need to be doing 1:22s. It does look we have got a high steering ratio here. Not quite back in the 22s yet. Well, now Paul's not being hassled by a Brabham. He's pretty quick. No, this isn't Paul, actually. Paul was the one that pulled over to the side. This is Ralph. Ralph Mafe. Oh, we're pitting together. Stop revving your engine. Crew versus pit crew, that was. Oh, went defensive. Oh, I'm exhausted just watching this. Now, where did we come out? Fifth. So Rick Bryant is leading at the moment. Some very intelligent driving from the car ahead. Oh, he's hit the dirt, but can't quite capitalise. You don't want to jinx something saying you're driving great. Well. Again, I don't know what happens in this race either. I don't even remember this battle at all. It's cracking though. Oh, was I thinking another pit stop straight away? Is that what I was thinking? I wondered whether I did, or maybe that was just a flick of car control. But imagine if I was thinking that. But I did see a car going into the pit just then. But they would have left before me anyway because they were a slower car. Too much there. Although Ralph got on the loud pedal a bit too much. Here we go. So that's kind of a problem. You know, you can keep to one side to give the other car a chance to overtake, but if you kind of start on the inside, we're feeling like pit stop straight away. Here we go. We're going aggressive. Come out into traffic. Yeah. Came out just behind a Cooper. Bollocks. Are they on the same lap? I believe they are. I mean, I appreciate what I was probably going for, but it's just the only place that I'd need to be bang on is that corner, but I can't get the power down, which means that I'm always playing catch up all the way down the straight. And I think, as I'd said before, if you hold the inside line all the way up to this turn, the other car really has to try and get over the top of you. Ah! Oh! Reprieve! Reprieve! The strategy might work. It might work. Although if the timing is right there, my last lap time was a 1:26. I'm guessing because the finish line is in an odd place, but so James Greenwood's gonna be ahead of us out of the pit stops because of being in a BRM. So R1-3. Ooh, that's a reset, wasn't it? I believe. And I think Kevin Clark still needs to do a pit stop. And he has to do a stop and go because I think he's just reset his car. Shortest pit lane on the calendar, I think. We're up to 6th place. Lap 18 of 36. This race has gone really quickly. That's a Ferrari, and that's for position. We're up to 5th place. I think we were going to get that place already. We beat him! We beat him through the pit stops! Strategy! Strategy! How about that? So we should... Whoa, steady on. We should be up to 4th place now, I think. So... Jay Greenwood, RMJ. And another BRM. So BRM, Cooper, BRM ahead. So I'm back in the 122s now. Well, I mean, there's 2 BRMs. I'm not there's no guarantee that those are pitting at all. So at the very least, I would hope to be back in 3rd. Because in as though we were 2nd. Well, technically 3rd before the pit stop phase. Does look like I'm pushing on though. Still the same 3 cars ahead. At 21 of 36. I mean, we won't know until much later in the race. I'm just very surprised at how aggressive I went on strategy. I suppose all the past experience had kind of led me to this position. Being like, I know it's very hard to pass here because of all of those times when I'd just be stuck behind slower cars, going 2 seconds a lap slower, and I just could not pass. So I had to kind of think outside the box a little. I'm actually quite chuffed with myself. Although I'll probably find out I'm going to get a penalty for speeding in the pit lane or something. I can definitely see improvement, you know, from, I suppose, the earlier seasons. It's not such a crash fest, is it? Because it was like, some of the earlier seasons were just like, you know, who's going to fall off the track and on what lap kind of thing. But now it does seem like races seem a bit more stable. Maybe just because I'm looking at this season, particularly with kind of some fresh eyes. Some big dark lines heading off track there. So it's still Greenwood RMJ. That's the leader. Matching my fast lap time last time out, 1:22.8. Nearly past 2/3 distance. Well, in fact, it's 3/4 distance, isn't it? 24. See, we're still in 4th place. We're not gaining anything. And we've got 12 laps to go. In fact, that is 2/3 distance, isn't it? It's not 3/4 distance. Hate that corner. So there's the Brabham. There's a BRM. And this is me. Pushing a bit too hard, I feel. Sure, there must be a better way of doing that turn that comes on the back straight. Oh, I think I can see the cars now. So the BRM is actually doing similar lap times to me. So being in 4th place, it means that I've beaten... Oh no, I haven't, because that Brabham is still ahead of me. So I haven't beaten that Brabham through the pit stop phase. It's like I've got so much understeer. I don't remember my car being this pointy. My fastest lap of the race last time out. 1:27.7. Well, the fastest lap of the race is a 1:20.6. Ooh. Okay, so we comfort there. We're up to 3rd. Who's gone? It's the Brabham that's pitted. So just 2 BRMs ahead. Again, I don't think I have the pace advantage to beat them. There's definitely a couple of people that aren't scoring. They're entered in the race, but they're not scoring at all. Which in some ways is a little annoying, because they can affect the result by being on track. That was my fastest lap of the race, 1:22.5. Getting into a bit of a better rhythm now. And I'm getting closer to this BRM. And this BRM, I think, started behind me. Well, I'm not sure that was even regulations, but I'm assuming that is what is happening, because I'm not seeing a couple of people in the results. But I'm definitely getting closer to this guy. So I am. These 3 races are kind of convincing me that I may be seeing this season a little differently than I saw it back then. But I'm trying to keep that to myself until the end of the season. Until I see the season results, because there was a reason why I was a little pissed. But I don't know whether they adjusted the results after the season was completed. So, because this archive has been up since it was done for real. And thankfully they've kept it up, otherwise I wouldn't be able to see all of this, which is quite nice. Although I would be able to kind of export some of the results from the replays, but I wouldn't know the moderate reports and stuff. I mean, I doubt they do. They probably do a stop and go. But I don't know whether this guy's pitted at all. Well, I'm definitely closer now. Oh, there goes the Lotus. It's the first Lotus we've seen. The guy ahead is James Greenwood. I believe he was in the results. Lap 30 of 36. We've got 6 laps to try and do something about this BRM. I mean, would it be a case of that the BRM, you know, if the Masters could enter in Division 1 and just don't score points? It seems a bit strange that they would enter in the slowest car. Maybe it was an ego boost for them. It's only a couple of times when I've got turn 2 right, and you can get the balance between slip and traction. I'm wondering whether I am coming out of that turn a gear higher than everybody else because I'm just not too confident in getting the power down. And that's why I'm lagging behind a little. At 32 of 36, it's got 4 laps. Getting a good exit of turn 2, but not quite enough. Opportunity gone for this lap. I would have perhaps gone for that a bit more. We're going to drive right around the outside of him. I was holding my breath then. I was holding my breath. Because you could hear him. And I think I was so close to the dirt as well. Trying to give him as much space as possible. But I think if I was maybe a little more forceful in turn 1, then it wouldn't have been a problem in turn 2. But scary, very scary. Because if fine margins, if I'd hit that dirt, the back would have just come straight round and you'd just be heading towards the scenery. Overtaking is possible around here, but because I mean I definitely had a slight overlap in turn 1. I think maybe because turn 1 isn't really a proper kind of slowing down braking zone. It's hard to make a proper out braking maneuver, and the person on the outside can just kind of hang it around the outside and keep the throttle on. But look how much I've pulled away. I wonder whether the moderator's going to give me any compliments this time to boost my ego. Well, we're back up to second. And we did it in the dying moments as well. Lap 34, 36. Got 2 laps to go. Going on to the penultimate lap now. Definitely not the fastest car on the circuit, because there is a, what I believe is probably a Lotus that's putting in lap times at 2 seconds faster than me. But I think clearly I'm remembering this season a little differently than I did back then. Because I was convinced that something happened at Mossport that really got on my nerves, but I mean, this has been one of probably, I wouldn't say it's the best race, maybe, but I think it's the most aggressive strategy-wise I've ever seen in one of these. Let's hope I don't run out of fuel on the last lap, eh? I mean, it kind of blows my mind now that obviously we have so many ways to know what's going on in the race with all the overlays and track apps and the fact that you would have had no idea about your fuel level, really. I think there is like a fuel needle in the, or fuel pressure in the cockpit, but there's no way of really knowing when that suddenly drops. You wouldn't know that you were low on fuel until you suddenly start spluttering. Obviously I've been caught foul of that probably about 3 times, I think. I was just unlucky at Silverstone that it actually made me lose a place, but a 4th place, an 8th place, and we're going to come home with what we think is going to be a 2nd place. I mean, I don't think there's any incident that the moderator would look out for me. I don't think, anyway. There we go. Second place. Well, it now says first. Okay. Did I just win? Did I just win? I don't know. I'm confused. Oh, now the networking has actually decided to work. Which is weird. So I'm going to put a shortcut to a file on my desktop. I'm looking for the results. That's what I'm looking for. Right, okay. This would be my what? Fourth win? If it's a win, I don't know. It is! Look! It's a win! It's a win! I won by 10 seconds in the end. 6th to 1st. James Greenwood. I don't know who Lorenzo Galuzzi is. Haven't seen him in the results yet. Looks like a few people had a mare. So Kevin Clark's normally up front. So I think that's the Lotus we saw going around. So that's Neil Stratton there. There are only 12 drivers. And Paul McCluskey pulled over early on. Here we go, look. A faultless drive by Neil Wood saw him climb from 6th on the grid to the top step of the podium. Congratulations on an excellent win. Despite taking to the grass on 4 separate occasions, James Greenwood held on to take 2nd place by a mere half a second from a hard-charging Rick Bryant. So the pace was there, so we managed to overhaul Rick Bryant and RMJ, who were had pit stops better than us. So, oh, here we go. So this is probably why that Ralph lost the no, because I'd already passed him by then. Ralph loses at turn 8 and rejoins, but doesn't stay well left. This is a difficult place to rejoin because the left-hander at turn 9. But drivers shouldn't drift into the middle of the track until they're up to speed. Only some accident driving from Jason and Lorenzo prevented an incident. So I'd already passed him by them. So I'm going to say I won that through strategy. I mean, Mossport was always my favourite track. It was frustrating because obviously just the ability to pass on it. But I'd always gone particularly well then. I probably, if I look back at some of the results, I know that I did lose a win because of because of getting rear-ended by a friend of mine, and gifted someone else the win. But I'm kind of seeing this season a bit kind of differently now, really. So I don't know if the things that I had seen in my brain of the reasons why I quit it. I suppose it's kind of easy to kind of look at the replay and say, oh, you know, it may be I may be I'm not seeing what happened behind the scenes, and maybe there were like tempers got flared behind the scenes, but looking at the replay, you can't see any of that in the driving. So maybe seeing it from a step back, it's a lot easier. And because I obviously can't remember all of the things that went on, then yeah. So that was pretty good. Pretty good indeed.